One of the things that I saw come up a few times in the coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict is the fact that even though he was found not guilty on all charges, living any semblance of a normal life is going to be next to impossible for this kid. We are already seeing this now as several leftist and socialist groups at Arizona State are trying to force the school to expel Kyle in the name of keeping the campus safe, even though he was enrolled in an online program and wouldn't have been going to campus anyway. Unfortunately, as of Monday, either they were successful or Kyle dropped his classes himself, as the school says he is no longer enrolled. Both Kyle and the school are keeping quiet about what happened, but either way, I'd be willing to bet that the controversy kicked up by student groups played a part. I'm not really sure where to even begin on this story because there are so many eye-roll-inducing elements of it, between the open slander, the unrelated demands, the repeating of misinformation that is slowly being retracted by major media outlets, or even the fact that Arizona State doesn't require criminal background checks for their online programs, even if Kyle was found guilty. Basically, none of the leftist groups involved have a leg to stand on, but hey, this is 2021 and commies gonna commie. Before I get into all the details, I'd like to thank Sportsman's Guide for sponsoring this video. Sportsman's Guide carries the best and biggest brands for anything and everything outdoors, and I swear always has some sort of sale going on somewhere. They're also the worldwide leader in military surplus gear, which honestly is my favorite part of the little catalog I get from them every month, as it always has some really cool stuff all the way from World War I to today. Right now, they're also giving away over $2,600 of gifts and gear to 2 lucky winners via the gifts page on their website, so long as you enter before December 14th. So to check them out, use my link down in the description. So I suppose we'll start this off with the Students for Socialism and their now locked down tweet about Kyle, an anti-Kyle sign-making event, and a subsequent rally they've planned against him. The group calls themselves Revolutionary Marxists with a mission of ending capitalism, and have set their tweets about Kyle so that only people they personally tag in their tweets can respond. Probably because all of the 1,000 replies I scrolled through were telling them they were being ridiculous. Back on November 26th, they tweeted about a planned rally and protest against murderer Kyle Rittenhouse being allowed on campus, along with a list of demands. These demands were to expel Kyle, for the university to release a public statement against racist murderer Kyle, and against white supremacy in general, to reaffirm the campus multicultural center as a safe space, whatever that means, and to defund the campus police and instead reroute that money to the aforementioned multicultural center and a new care center on campus. CARE is a mental health and case management organization that focuses on HIV and addiction, which clearly are the responsibility of a state-funded university. The demands came with a statement that, quote, even with a not guilty verdict from a flawed justice system, Kyle Rittenhouse is still guilty to his victims and the families of those victims, which, let's be honest, one, Kyle was found to have acted in self-defense, so while those families are still grieving, the word victim is a little strong. And two, I'm sure Rosenbaum's actual victims still think he's guilty, but I don't see anyone on the left talking about that. The statement goes on that the demands need to be met to protect students from a violent, bloodthirsty murderer, says the folks preaching the likes of Stalin, Mao, and Pol Pot. Cool beans. The tweet advertised a sign-making event for the 29th and a rally to be held on Wednesday the 1st. Despite Kyle no longer being enrolled, they plan to still hold the rally and still somehow use Kyle as leverage to try and get the administration to cave to their demands. They'll be joined by Mecca de ASU, a self-described anti-capitalism, anti-colonialism, and anti-prison Mexican-American student group that requires you to be a part of their communist book club in order to join, as well as the Students for Justice in Palestine and the Multicultural Solidarity Coalition. The groups have a combined Twitter following of approximately 2,000 people.
That's venturing close to occupation with those kind of numbers.
A spokesman for the Students for Socialism told Fox News, "The goal of these demands is to let the ASU administration know that we as the ASU community do not feel safe knowing that a mass shooter who has expressed violent intentions about protecting property over people is so carelessly allowed to be admitted to the school at all. Our campus is already unsafe as it is, and we would like to abate this danger as much as possible." Yes, the horrible danger of a young man taking online non-degree prerequisites off campus while being found not guilty of the crimes they keep accusing him of. And when they say people over property, they mean their people over property. Kyle, who defended himself against violence, is apparently not a person in this equation. The group claimed the jury decision would give Kyle and any right-wing groups a license to kill anyone protesting for human rights and blamed the verdict on a biased judge and a white jury. There's also a petition going around on change.org to get him expelled from the school permanently. Now here is where the plot thickens. Kyle was enrolled as a non-degree student, taking his nursing prereqs online. Just a couple weeks ago, he was still enrolled. At the time, the university released the following statement. Kyle Rittenhouse has not gone through the admissions process with Arizona State University and is not enrolled in the Edson College of Nursing and Health Innovation. ASU can confirm that Mr. Rittenhouse enrolled as a non-degree seeking ASU online student for the session that started October 13th, 2021, which allows students access to begin taking classes as they prepare to seek admission into a degree program at the university. That semester allegedly ends this week, and a spokesperson for the family had also confirmed Kyle's plans to study nursing at ASU after the verdict. But, according to new reports, the school is now saying that Kyle is no longer enrolled in any classes at all. They released a new statement on the 29th stating, "Kyle Rittenhouse has not gone through the ASU admissions process. Our records show that he is not currently enrolled in any classes at ASU." So there are a few possible scenarios here. The school could be saying this as a technicality, that he is not enrolled in any classes for the coming semester, but they are describing him as completely unenrolled, so I find that unlikely. It's also possible that Kyle withdrew from or dropped his classes himself amidst the controversy. He did, after all, drop a couple classes during the trial, but it seems kind of silly to keep some of those classes and then drop them just a couple days before the end of the semester, unless the trial prevented him from not completing the work. But still, after the trial, a spokesperson confirmed that he was planning to continue at the school. The third possibility is that the school caved to the demands of a very few, but loud, individuals. Since I originally recorded this video, one last bit of information has come out, and that is simply that a spokesperson for Kyle Rittenhouse told Fox News that professors recommended Kyle take a compassionate withdrawal from his classes. Whether or not that withdrawal was recommended due to the trial or to the controversy on campus has not been revealed. Either way, it's not a good look for the school, which was already mired in controversy after 2 white students were kicked out of the Multicultural Center for allegedly threatening students with their studying. These students who kicked out the white kids weren't acting in racism, by the way, but the white guy who acted in self-defense against 3 other white guys was acting in racism. No matter the reason for Kyle no longer being enrolled at the school, the 4 campus groups involved are running victory laps and calling it a win. On the heels of the university's announcement, the groups released a joint statement that read in part, "We will not stand for a white supremacist killer on our campus. In our view, the Rittenhouse shooting is analogous to the Greensboro massacre, where 5 anti-racist protesters were killed by Klan members that were later acquitted by an all-white jury. Similar to the Greensboro massacre, the Rittenhouse case is a failure of the justice system to punish fascist vigilante violence. The danger Kyle Rittenhouse presents is not just as a person on campus, but the racist and fascist right-wing elements that he will bring on campus. Since Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 anti-racist protesters and wounded another, he has been followed online and in real life by extremely violent right-wing Nazis, fascists, and Klan hanger-ons. Having such a high-profile right-wing fascist icon on our campus would be giving these organizations a free pass to recruit and organize students." So in their eyes, not only is Kyle guilty and not worthy of getting an education, but he is also guilty by alleged association that is beyond his control. The same statement also accused ASU officials of allowing so-called fascist factions to agitate freely on campus for some time. It ended on the note, "Our priority as student organizations is the safety of students above all else, in this case, safety from fascist violence." Which is ironic. "We are calling on the ASU administration and our president Michael Crow to stop hiding and denounce white supremacy by denying Rittenhouse any further enrollment at ASU." That's it for this video, guys. You know the deal. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the support options down below, and stay awesome. As always, thanks for tuning in and helping me to spread the message of liberty.